Welcome back to Fantasy Football Number 5. I am Parker all by myself this week as Taylor's at his mom's for Thanksgiving. So without further ado, here is your Week 12 video. So I would never expect myself to be in a purple jersey, being in black and gold country here. So let's start off with the quarterbacks. Some starts: Big Ben, Eli Manning, and Kirk Cousins. Now I said Big Ben's to start last week against the Browns. He did not play well as they just ran the ball all the time with Lev Bell. But this week he plays a Colts team in which he's thrown 10 touchdowns the past 2 games against them, so you need to start him. Some sits: Matt Stafford, Andy Dalton, and Jameis Winston. Now, Andy Dalton just lost A.J. Green. Pretty self-explanatory as to why you should sit him now, because his top target is now Tyler Eifert, his tight end, and his top running back, Gio Bernard, also went out, so even more reason to sit Andy Dalton. Alright, so some starts at the running back position. We have Jay Ajayi, Frank Gore, and Rashad Jennings. Now, Rashad Jennings had a surprisingly good week with, I think, 18 points last week for the Giants, and I expect that to continue against a really bad Browns team that let up an astronomical amount of yardage and points to Le'Veon Bell. Now we have some sits here: some Jonathan Stewart, Ryan Matthews, and Doug Martin. Now Doug Martin faces a really tough front seven for the Seattle Seahawks. He's had struggles getting past his blockers, so expect the Seahawks to really limit Doug Martin in his production. And now Jordan Howard, he's not listed as a start or a sit, but he has a really tough matchup against the Tennessee Titans this week, and I'm going to let you decide his fate for your team, as Matt Barkley might be his starting quarterback, and they're going to load the Titans are going to load the box, which means Howard's not going to have anybody to run. So I'll let you decide for him. Alright, so some starts at the wide receiver position, which we nailed last week, by the way. We have Amari Cooper, Julian Edelman, Stephon Diggs, and Jamison Crowder. Now, Jamison Crowder, what a beast he is, alright? We picked him up. We didn't start him, unfortunately, but he had, I think, 16 points. Could have easily had 22 if he didn't get tackled on the 1-yard line. But he has a juicy matchup this week against the Dallas Cowboys on a Thanksgiving Day game that I expect to be a shootout. And then we have sits: Jeremy Maclin, Jarvis Landry, Marvin Jones, and Michael Thomas. Now, Jarvis Landry is a questionable sit here against the really bad 49ers team, but he really has been struggling. If it wasn't for that touchdown last week, his fantasy week would have been in the garbage, and now he's losing valuable targets thanks to Jay Ajayi's production. Alright, now for some tight end starts. For Week 12, we have Delanie Walker, Tyler Eifert, and Jason Witten. Now, going back to that game against the Redskins and the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, Jason Witten has had a really good stretch of games dating back to last season against the Redskins, including 2 touchdowns and I think over 200 receiving yards. Now, Dak Prescott isn't his biggest fan. I should say that the other way around, but Jason Witten, I think he's going to have a good week this week, so you got to start him. Now, with some sits: Kobe Fleener, Julius Thomas, and Ladarius Green. Now, Ladarius Green is the tight end for the Steelers. Many of you may or may not know that, but he just came off the pop a couple of weeks ago, has really struggled in that offense thus far, getting plenty of red zone targets, but nothing productive out of it. So sit Ladarius Green this week against the Colts. Alright, so some starts at the defensive position this week. We have the Giants, the Tennessee Titans, and the Buffalo Bills. Now, the Titans, you might think of them as kind of a weak defense, and they could be. But this week they play a possibly Matt Barkley-led Bears team, which I previously mentioned. Bears don't have Alshon Jeffrey. Jordan Howard could be limited in his work, so all the more reason to start the Titans defense this week. And some sits here: the Cardinals, the Panthers, and the Eagles. Now, the Cardinals let up only like 14 or so offensive points last week, but their special teams really struggled, and I expect that to continue against one of the league's top offenses in the Atlanta Falcons. So, sit the Cardinals this week. And as always, our favorite position, kickers. So, some starts this week. We have Dan Bailey, Matt Bryant, and Matt Prater. Now, Matt Prater is a kicker for the Lions, and they're going up against Minnesota this week in their Thanksgiving game too. And Matt Prater, if you remember, nailed a 58-yard field goal to send the game into overtime against the Vikings a few weeks ago to eventually win the game. So start Matt Prater again. Some sits: Roberto Aguayo, Nick Folk, and Connor Barth. Now, Roberto Aguayo had a fantastic week last week. First one in a long time. But this week the Bucks face Seattle, I believe. Yeah, they face Seattle. And so that defense is really, really good. And I think Jameis Winston's going to struggle a little bit. The run game is going to struggle. So sit Roberto Aguayo. Alright, so some guys to pick up off the waiver wires this week. We have Dion Lewis, Rob Kelly, and Cole Beasley. Now, Cole Beasley is the, I think, third receiver for the Cowboys, but he has had 8 PPR points every single week this week. Yeah, that's crazy for a number 3 guy. So you need to pick him up, especially in a PPR league. Now, some people to drop. We have Nelson Aguilar, Andy Dalton, and Zach Miller. That was Fantasy Football 5. Thank you for watching. We deliver all your fantasy news in 5 minutes, so because honestly, who wouldn't want to watch a 30-minute video on this topic? Amen. Alright, so this is our Week 12 strategy and starting sims, and really hope you use it to your advantage. Now, our fantasy team, on the other hand, we did lose this week. We had a guy who had Rob Kelly on his team. It happens every week to us. We face a guy who has a career day. We're still in the playoff hunt, though. This is a must-win week for us, so best of luck to us and to you.